All right, guys. Is this thing on? Oh, no, it's not. Shoot. Okay, well, I guess I'm screaming tonight. I'm doing a big power clap. Brady's got a interesting problem. I don't think you're going to solve it in this amount of time. Go ahead, try.
Yeah.
If you guys get a chance, before we start, this is our first activity tonight. It's going to be on Open Weather Map. We're going to use an API key. We each individually need to have an API key from Weather Map. So, how many have one already? Oh, okay, good. How many don't have one yet? Okay. I slacked out the address as well. So you don't have to create additional ones. There's one already supplied in there, so you don't need to create a new one. Once you're registered, they'll give you an API key, so it should be there. Either way. Yeah, raise your hand if you have any questions about that or I need to get it set up, because I kind of want to hit the ground running with that. So, all right. Hey guys, how y'all doing? The link that was up on the screen, you need to use that and then register. No, I slacked it out, a link. Just go there, register, and set up an API key. That's a personal password that you'll be using for our first activity. So I just wanted to make sure everybody got to jump on it. That's all. All right, so how are you guys doing? Good. Cool. This is fun. AJAX up. How much fun did anybody go home and play with APIs or anything? Anybody have any chance to play around with that? No, not really. So homework to get done, serious stuff to get done. All right, that's fine. So what we're going to do today is a little review of APIs, AJAX, JSON, how everything works together, just for the first 15 minutes, and then we're going to hit the ground running and just do a bunch of fun API things today. So it's going to be a fun day. We have a lot of fun. So it's going to be just a blast. It is. All right. So what is an API? Okay, who am I ask? Raymond? That's right. That's absolutely right. Yes. That's right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Not to be confused with an IPA. An application programming interface, right? So this sets a predefined routines and code snippets and tools for building software applications. So essentially, it's data that lives over here that you want to live here, right? So it's something, it's data, it's stuff, it's things that happen over here that you can leverage and use in your own situation. Make sense? All right, good. Okay, so it often is a bridge between components, right? So the API gateway is your system. You can reach out to, you can use a mobile app, you can use your partners, you can use mobile apps, web apps, get data, functions, other UI, anything you need to get, depending on the API that's available. But it's all there, right, depending on the API, right? So when you're dealing with cross-platform type applications where you're building something for the web, or you're building something for Alexa, or you're building something for mobile, or whatever, you can build one application that can support all the data and all the functions and all the real hardcore stuff here, and use that in each individual situation that you need it, right? To get consistency across the board. So a lot of benefits to using an API, right? It doesn't mean you can give someone access or yourself access to your data without having them to have access to your database, in a sense, right? Kind of acts as an intermediate. You can only show them what you want them to see, right? Or what you want yourself to see. It's good for a lot of reasons. All right, so what are some use cases? Right? I covered some of this, right? So we went over the IMDb or the OMDB, whatever. So we pulled out that movie data. We're going to do that again today. We're going to do a weather API. We're going to use that and try to pull out the weather, current weather in different countries. Cool. Physical sensors or hardware devices have APIs that you can use, right? It's thermostat. I have a Honeywell thermostat that I connected through my Alexa, and I built an app for it that was sweet, so I could change the temperature in my house by giving my Alexa commands. Come to find out that they already have an app that allows you to connect your Alexa and your Honeywell app, but at least I got to learn how to do it. But all that was through an API that's available. So, cool stuff. It's kind of fun. The world of IoT is all going there, right? Who knows what IoT stands for? Internet of Things, yeah. Cool. That includes things like Nest thermostats and Alexa and those kind of things. Awesome. Oh. All right, so use case number one, right? So we are able to get things like finance, right? You can pull, maybe stock market. Stuff has changes by the second, right? Weather changes by the second. Any information that you wouldn't want to keep your own data, house it in your own place because you'll be outdated immediately, right? So you go to the people that have that information, right, and pull it down. All right. So as well as data like functionality, right? So the Airbnb utilizes the Google Maps API to get the entire mapping service. They let you customize everything with the Google API. You can put in your own little logos. You can put in your own anything you want to do. Allow them to zoom. Don't allow them to zoom. Tell them your starting zip code. Tell them the street address that you want to start with. All that stuff can be built in the API. So on your web application, you can say, here's what it is. Completely customizable. Google Maps is a super good API. If you're looking for like the proper way to document API, that it's amazingly simple, and it can be really complex, right? It's like Othello, like a lifetime to master, a minute to learn. Okay, so yeah, I go tangents. Has anyone ever heard the Othello? Like it takes a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. Huh? It's on the box. Who knows what Othello is? Who has Othello? Yeah, 3 of us. Fantastic. Othello's a game where you have these little tiles and you flip them over and you're trying to get all the tiles to be your color. Fine. Thank you. I was going to talk to Virginia the entire class, but apparently we're only on the same frequency. So that's thermostat, Q, right? Node bots. All this type of stuff can be programmed using APIs. And the cool part about this is once we go down this road, you're going to see how JavaScript really ties into this, right? Because a lot of these are based in Node.js, which is really the foundation of like IoT now, because it's awesome and it's easy to use. And if you have any bit of a JavaScript background, you can code it. So that's coming. We'll be able to do some really cool stuff. I looked at some of the lesson plans like later on, and it's like, I think I'm going to kind of do something different towards when we get into Node stuff. And I really want to bring in the Alexa and like make a skill, because it's really rewarding. Like when you make an app and you're rewarded by it, it's really cool to be able to talk to Alexa and have it know what your skill is, have it ask the questions that you programmed and respond in a way. Right? It's kind of fun. So that's definitely coming. All right. So controlling physical hardware, like I kind of went over. All right. So that's what APIs are good for. Additional questions on APIs, you guys? Nothing right now? It's fine. Like I said, I kind of want to whip through this part, and then we can get right into the fun part. So what is JSON? Nicole? We're making eye contact, so I knew you were trying to like. Yeah, that's right. Makes objects more pretty. Very good. Yes. No, that's true. And honestly, that's what it is. JSON is the JavaScript object notation, right? So it's the prettying of a JavaScript object, right? So it is used obviously sometimes with how we're able to read it through an AJAX call, right? JSON might be provided to us by an API that we can use within our own applications, right? Syntax is identical to an object syntax. You guys all remember this from last Monday, so I don't have to go too over it, but let's see if I can quiz you guys. Let's say I have a response and I'm calling this JSON object, and I wanted to read the view count of this first item. Items, I guess the view count of items. How do I get there? Let's say my object, it's a response. So I'd say response dot what to get to view count. We know, Duncan?
So the data, then items, so what was the figure?
View count.
View count.
Yeah. Yes.
The periods in between.
Yes, and there's one tricky thing about this. Items is technically in an array. So I didn't see that the first time either. So if I was going to say items in this case, obviously the items, what brackets was 0. In this case, it's only 1 items. But yeah, that's how it works. Good. All right, so getting data, right? What jQuery method do we use to receive the data from the URL database? What's it called? You said it. Just say it. What? No, what's the method called though? The jQuery method. $dot AJAX. Yeah. AJAX, right? You should never forget that because you always got to think of the soap, okay? That's how we do that. All right, and what 2 parameters do we pass into AJAX to receive data from online? What 2 parameters are required? Kind of tricky in the way that's formed. Rob? Yes. In this case, we're using the URL and the method of get, right? Later on down the line, we're going to use the URL and the method of post, right? We're just going to post the information. But get is basically saying we're displaying this information on this JSON. We're gonna retrieve it. All the stuff that's on the page. It's not the most regular method of way of handling APIs, but we'll get into that coming down the line. It's also how this is structured. You can post data within your AJAX call that would, yeah.
So do you have to have jQuery linked API? Is that the $sign? Or is that?
Yes. No, you're right. This is a jQuery method. Right. Right. Is there a JavaScript alternative? Yes. But we just kind of skipped over it. And it's slightly different. And to be honest, I was even telling Nick last week that I had something built completely in the old school way, and I converted all over to this. So there's a lot of it. Yeah. Good question. Any more questions about that? Yeah.
So before that done was then, is that
okay?
Changeable or?
Very good question. Yeah. There's going to be some of the stuff that we haven't totally covered yet. Done simply means, oh gosh, done and then. I think then you can use multiple.
So then allows you to pass in 2 parameters. You were only working with 1 parameter passing in.
Yeah.
First is success and the second is failure. Here you're just saying only execute what you see in the
if it's successful. So so essentially that they will in the scheme of things that we're doing right now, they do the same thing. For now, just do then, and we'll kind of get into why probably later on. So, but yeah, done essentially waits for it to load, says, hey, it was done, it was successful, complete what this function is, then says after this has been completed, whether it's been successful or not, do this anyway. We're using then, just because it's less strict, I would assume, in that sense. Yeah, sorry for that. Okay. All right. You guys are so happy. I'm not gonna see you guys for a while. I'm going to Vegas this weekend, so. I'm taking 2 lucky students. You just have to come up with the $2,500 interest rate. Yeah, so let's talk, guys. Let's talk. This is a kind of a. I know we all got really good at this. I feel like on Monday. Like, how are you guys feeling with AJAX and JSON and APIs? Just a 5. Just a 5. You weren't here. It's a 5. All right. Well, we'll catch you up. And how did everybody else? We're all pretty good, solid. Okay. We'll get there. And today, like I said, we're going to cover a lot of AJAX stuff over again. So once you start seeing it, you're there. You'll have no problem with it. I don't know why I want to cover this. So I went over this actually in the first class. For those that can totally remember everything I did in the first class, but this is another method of retrieving information from the back end, pulling it in the front end, giving it to the user, right? And using an API would act as that intermediate, right? That transfer protocol in a sense. I don't want to say transfer protocol because then it's something completely different. But what we're doing is communicating with the back end, bringing it to the client front end, and displaying it to the user in a roundabout ways. Okay, so we should understand what APIs are. API is APIs. Understand what JSON means, right? We should know AJAX methods are used for retrieving data in databases, right? And we should know basic AJAX GET request using jQuery, right? So a lot of the code that we used Monday, okay, we can repurpose that stuff, right? A lot of it we can just copy and paste it and just use it. So let's see that. All right, so we are going to Slack out. Is it Bujumbura? We're going to Slack out. We're going to get the weather in Bujumbura. And we're going to use that API key that you guys got from the website. Everybody should have one. And we're going to have 2 different tracks. We can take the easy track or you can take the hard track. So we'll Slack out both. Oh, way to go, Christian. Wow. He's just throwing in comments. Huh? What is it? Well, yeah. I mean, as long as it was. Thanks, man. Where did we go on top of it? Okay, you guys got it? Okay, so yeah, so click on do the hard one, do the easy one with whatever your comfortability. I think the only difference is that the easy one provides the AJAX for you, the basic function, but you can pull that out of your code from yesterday. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically
Robert.
This is basically all the class.
So what do we put in?
Wow.
Oh, you're going in. It's oh yeah.
Yeah.
First one was one. How you said this guy? Yeah, that's a good thing. This is right. Now we want to get this. Where's so first
Or maybe
Yes. Two city councils. Sometimes someone's really loud and you right. So if I wanted to get city popular, look at the responses. Look at the response. Oh, it's good. So, I just want to know it.
So then.
That should be. Oh,
yeah.
So here, take an additional step.
Anything's over there.
There you go. All right, now. Good. So the next. Oh, based on each one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just like. Yeah, and we're using this. So this is. So, yeah. How do you say it?
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Okay, so failure time. All right. So it looks like you have a
Right.
because it's treating it as being relative to your. Did you? It should be close to myself. That's it. There's your response. Bam.
Well, I copied it, so I think I didn't realize when I copied it.
Oh.
Yeah. If you don't have HTTP, it's so
Oh my gosh. Okay, raise your hand if you haven't. Oh, this is much better. Oh. Raise your hand if you didn't get the temperature to show up in the div. Just the temp. Or the name, the city name. Did everybody get the city name to show up? Okay.
next time it's hard. Yep. Where URL, that's just going to help with that. So now this isn't going to work because, so this is all the right stuff. You're basically saying, if I'm able to make the AJAX, then go down here. That's the, you're passing, or what the AJAX calls return is more responsible, or you're trying to help somebody not call responsible. There is no variable called capital R response. So now if you go and run this, there's the API, there's the object that is being returned. So now you can start going. So this one, where you so you want to basically put, but why don't we put the temperature inside the temperature? Scroll to the top, you have the div. Here, let's do that.
All right, guys, we got a ton of activities to go through today, so I got to kind of whip through this one. So we'll send out the solutions, of course, afterwards, but I just wanted to walk through it real quick. All right. All right, so this is how I did it. Oh, that's really small. Hold on. All right. So assigning the, and a lot of us kind of weren't.
So
Who did the challenging one? Yeah. Who did the easy one? Anybody else? I just want to make sure everybody's answer up to 1 point. Okay, so I think the difference was the AJAX thing wasn't included. I don't know. Didn't look too close. Okay. So we're populating the city, right? In this first object, why was I able to just say response.name? Why was it just that? Can anybody tell me why it was just response.name for the name of the city? The key to the city. That's right. Yeah. So name was right on that first level, right? It was not nested in another object. It was just available on that first level. So we're able to say response.name. There we go. Right. Then it got a little more challenging, right? Because it was like I got to find the wind speed. Where's that? Right. Then I have to try to find the humidity. So where was that? Nested within name, right? The temperature, same thing, rested within name. Who attempted to do the conversion? You guys? How many succeeded in doing the conversion? Both? Okay. That was kind of tricky. Who rounded the conversion once they finished? Little extra credit. As you see, I did not. Like a little extra credit. All right. All right, so we're going to jump into the next one, guys. I just want to like I said, we're going to kind of be inundated with these a little bit. I just wanted to get really comfortable with using AJAX and kind of get familiar with that. Yeah, go ahead.
How would you?
How to what?
Did you just have the Calvin on there, or did you have the Fahrenheit?
I didn't copy and paste the formula. But yeah, you could take that. Obviously, you can take that number and do anything you want to with it. But yeah, let me see. I'll pull it up. All right, here we go. See how good I am at copy and pasting? All right, so in this example, let's say, okay, so Fahrenheit is equal to the Kelvin, which I believe is that. That would be something like that, I guess. If I wanted to spit it out, I mean, or if I wanted to, yeah, all right.
Okay, so it wouldn't be in the line itself. It has to be somewhere else.
You could, yeah, sure. You could take all this and put this in there if you wanted to. Sure. Do something like that. That's probably how I would do it. Right. So, yeah, you can combine anything you want to. I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm missing a parenthesis thing. What's going on there? Oh, there's an extra one. Jeez. That one is that. Hold on. You know what? That's fine, whatever. Okay, so this one, all right. Okay, so if I wanted to put this up in the actual temperature, let's take a look. All right, so that should. Right. So yeah, if we're talking best practices, I'd probably write a function to handle it. So that can be outside of the scope of the AJAX, right? The function itself doesn't need to live there. I saw some of us do that because the function doesn't care, right? Doesn't care when, as long as it gets called at proper time, right? Oops. So let's see. Jeez, what is up with my parentheses? I just need like a bunch, right? I'll just keep throwing them on. Just like eventually yeah, it'll, right? So, okay, so if I wanted just to pass convert to F, right, I could just say, okay, convert to F, and then I'll pass in that temperature. All right. Oh, what is, seriously, how come my, oh, text, there it is. Jeez. All right. Something like that. You guys gonna make me run it? So I have no idea if that's gonna work. Huh? Dot text. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Taking a risk here. Oh, negative 300. That's how you do it. That is a little chilly. So I'm sure my formula is screwed up. All right. I guess we could debug it together. We got so much stuff to get through today, but we can play. All right. What's that? Am I? Oh, whoa. Wait, say it again? Say it one more time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, was it already converted over? Yeah, maybe I'm converting it twice. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. I think maybe I did this part of it wrong. Oh, you know what? This is what I did wrong. I just threw in too many. I think that's probably right. That's awesome. I gotta look at the formula example here. Okay, all right. Fahrenheit equals. All right, let's take a look. All right. Huh? You like me answer? Phew, thanks. All right, hold on. Wait, it's already in Kelvin? Right? Or is it already in Fahrenheit? It's already in Fahrenheit. Oh, that's why I'm having trouble. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, you did have it right. You were saying the right thing. All right, I'm done messing with this, but yeah, that's what went wrong. I just double calculated it. So it was Fahrenheit converted into Fahrenheit with calculate. All right, that was fun. I'm sweating over here. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is work. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna show a little example of this one first because that went so well. I thought maybe I'd do another one. All right, so let's try this. All right, so we're gonna build this movie app that's going to coordinate with the movie site that we worked on, the OMDB, and we'll be able to pull up posters and descriptions and those kind of things. But for now, for the first step, what we're going to do is just return some, well, sorry, hold on a sec. I don't know, whatever. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to just, in this first example, we're going to pull just the JSON coming from the response and spit it out to the screen. I don't know if we covered Stringify yet, and if we haven't, I'll cover it in the board once we get into the example, because I'm not sure if it includes it or not. But in order to make JavaScript show up on the screen, it needs to turn into a string in order for it to be a string to display on the screen. So you want to just go ahead, Slacker, and we'll Slacker. So let's see if we can all do that, and let me see if that includes Stringify. Oh. All right. All right, well, this is one of those things that they want you to learn on your own, so but I think I'm going to just provide it. The command is this, guys. I'm not using it in the right syntax. I still expect you to go through it, but it's basically JSON.stringify response. So we can set something to this, right? So we can say stringify, right? So, all this is doing is basically taking a response from our JSON and turning it into a string. So this is kind of a new thing. Honestly, that's all there's to it. There's not much else. Wow. You can learn it. I am. That's horrible. Twice in a row. All right. And we'll just do this one pretty quick, guys. So it's like 5 to 10 minutes. Anybody having trouble? Raise your hand.
Right, because
I've never gotten that, but once it.
it just allows you to write. But notice that that's a JSON function, JSON tool. And even here, like the way we sort of refer to it, JSON, we haven't seen that before. JSON dot. It would just, I wouldn't say that's practice necessarily. It just depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to use that stringified thing multiple times, you can track it better. But if not, then it's put in a variable and then use it once. And that holds true for any time you're working variables, right? If you don't use it once, like with a DOM element, right? If you put a DOM thing in a variable and use it once, because it takes longer because JavaScript has to go and find that thing and put it in a variable and use it one time. So actually it's less efficient to do that than just to get it once. But if you're going to use that variable 50 times, that's a much faster way. From JavaScript perspective, than having to go and like get the DOM element whose class is X 40 times. Because every time it has to query the DOM and go and get that thing. If you put the variable, it does it once. You know what I'm saying?
So once it corrects it, it already has it accessible to it.
Were you saying like with the DOM example? If I do $, if I do bar box equals $, quote, class div or something like that. Yeah, if you didn't put in a variable, then every single time that the browser interprets that line, or you try to grab that element from the DOM, it has to first dump again every time again.
Okay, so it has to go there back.
Exactly.
I thought you were saying that once it grabs it, it has the ability to just go with it, so it just continues to go on.
If you put it in a variable, yeah, that's okay. So my point is just that if you're using the variable more than once, or you're using your thing more than once.
It's basically class ID. It's more effective than. Yeah, no, right. That's bad analogy. That's bad analogy.
At least you know that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I'm learning that. I asked you a question.
I have stupid questions all the time. Don't worry about it. Do you have a question? Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's see if I can
Just grab that whole body. All the way down there.
So there's no less hassle.
Very good. Like a computer. So, yeah. Except of course you have to change some variables. What's your query URL? It's still called a query URL. You don't need all this. You don't need all of this. You need the concepts. You don't need the that stuff relates to the old example. Now you can go into whatever it is you want to do. Right now, because now you name your AJAX call inside the menu, you can do something with the AJAX data. Whatever it is you want to do, console log it. Output it to DOM.
Now, I saw you already graded my stuff.
I did.
Since I didn't link it, that's why I got graded. Like how it's you have to link it to the portfolio.
Yeah, so no, I didn't know. The reason I gave you the grade that is because, so basically the idea is you are, if you could have improved it, which would have been, which we did together, I'm not gonna.
No, which I wouldn't expect you.
So that's, it's really, it has no, I don't know. It would be nice if some things up in the browser there, but.
Well, that's, I've probably been trying to, so I can start doing that.
But, on the same thing, using the DOM select. It's funny you mentioned, right, because as I've gone around. So don't feel sad. It's just that we're looking at that. The short and you know, which is, that's critical. It's just that doing, having done this. But what's cool is that, what's cool from your perspective, that you have an example of like, how I hate how people look at the two, I see why I do that.
Just sitting down over it made more sense just once.
Sure.
Scroll through and you see the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just hard at what we know.
Well, this is why it takes time to go. Believe me, I started doing sales so hard, because I'm so bad. So yeah. There are if the ones actually advise you I guarantee.
Yeah, that's what I'm having to tell myself. So
This and that's exactly it. Right?
it's just you're not exposed.
Yeah, you have to see you're not so you don't know about things. You do have to work on your house, whether it's if they had tested one method or one thing, I wouldn't do it at all. You haven't even found that out. But one day you will. And you'll look at people's code, imagine the words right away for Facebook. Imagine if Facebook, you were looking at code, error, spaghetti code, holding documents, redundant, you would just be like, you know, and then the next time you wrote code, you would think long and hard about how you wrote it. Give that work. Especially when your other developers will be on so much better to get from us than to your solo developers. Although even there, they want you to do it in the best way possible.
I guess it's your first.
Well, I thought it was teaching you, but I didn't know what it felt yeah, just like, I think I would have in the future. There's plenty of opportunities, you know. Honestly, they figure it out. It's actually really fun. It's great. Like, the new job I have now, it's only jobs. But the last for a 1 year period, no jobs. And it's cheap. You know, there's
when they were doing that, was I was having to do something.
yeah, well, yeah. And that is like, because you don't have a scoping column, that's only relative. And there's a whole bunch of us. Even the business now where you can use like semicolons, that's part of the new version.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's just semicolons every time.
Well, just some of us really like the older guys, really like the reason is that in JavaScript, you can do the whole process. Like, you know, something that, this, that, whatever. The problem is that you can never put it into a readable. Every time you do a job, because oftentimes we'll have 30 dots. And so the problem is not doing semicolons that at the end of it, if you do dots, and then the next line is dots, and then you want to know that it's really the end of it. So whenever you see a semicolon, you know the same word. You're like, higher up or something, it's harder to read. So we actually, some of the younger members of the team, and it also depends on the other languages don't use that. And so we love having
No, just getting ready for real world.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So honestly, you know, it's been cool learn a lot. Right. And you're gonna get that experience exposure because you're gonna really have to build something that you can't really do on the old reasons. And then you really it's not really that hard, but it's very easy. It's basically just like whenever you know, because you don't because you just start changing. You have to go back now.
All right, guys, big power clap. All right, who got the JSON to show up on the screen? JSON, everybody? Everybody, cool, good. All right, you watching it? Yeah. Good. All right, so yeah, so that's just kind of a warm-up of what's going to happen next. So I just wanted to spend just a little bit more time with this stringify thing. Since you haven't seen it before, this is handy when you're displaying something on the screen. There's not a lot of other benefits, but one that was mentioned was if you have two JSON sources, you want to compare them. You could say one, a JSON stringify response and equals or does not equal JSON stringify response 2, right? So That's one good use of it. Another use is obviously just displaying your screen and just having him look at it, you know. There's not a ton there, but you should remember this. It is something you want to take notes on. So if it's something like, oh, hey, how do we stringify a JSON string? How do you stringify it? That's how you do it. So did you guys all end up putting this in your HTML then? Is that how you guys end up doing it? Or did anyone come up with a different method of doing it? Did they set it to a variable and then put the variable in there? Or anybody have anything interesting they want to share? No? All right, pretty straightforward stuff. Cool. How are we on time? I'm behind again. All right, so this is what we're kind of hoping to achieve, right? I should be able to add a movie. All right, I'm going to add Scarface. And then I'm going to click on Scarface, and what's going to happen? Oh, no, it's going to show nothing. That's exactly right. Oh, seriously? The example's broke? Love it. That's classy. Oh, you know what? No, I think this is all we're doing right now. This is no. That's the other step comes later. Yeah, all we're doing right now is just adding it to it, right? So if I'm appending it to it, right? So we're not doing anything fancy yet. All right, notebook. All right, Scarface notebook. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. So using the button movie layout, we have two that are going to be flagged out, the easier and the harder to start final point, but you should be able to dynamically generate the initial button using jQuery, right, that initial button, and allow it to create new buttons depending on the text that's entered in the text box, okay? So adding a movie, you should just be able to keep adding it. So don't worry, I know what you guys are thinking, what's coming up next, and you're right, but don't worry about doing it yet. All we're going to do for this example is just build this, right? That's all we have to worry about. Oh, can you guys see it? Oh, yeah. Awesome movie selection. So that's all we're going to do. Add a movie in here and put it up there, okay? That's got it. Or back. So energy. some of you are asking what the prevent default piece. Essentially, that's what it does. Like a typical on-click may have a response. If it's in a form, it may send the form, might do other stuff. So prevent default is basically preventing that default step from happening, that default event. So you'll typically see that in JavaScript applications that are saying like submit form. This will stop it from submitting.
So it also stops that talk about how events sort of bubble or propagate through elements.
Yeah.
I believe that'll stop that. So it's like a stop propagation. It might be a stop propagation.
I think that's, yeah, I think you're thinking something a little more advanced. I've only used it in this context, so maybe.
Yeah, that's just kind of like a So I think we just
Yes, right. Then.
and then we'll just oh, okay. It's not there. We're into those positions. We're gonna
That makes sense. So the first time you do there was
Yeah.
these guys really don't want you. And they're trying to end up
This is wrong.
No problem.
Problem?
Yeah.
It was like that for
So like,
You have the, okay. So here you're doing.
So having that here is
So what do you, what attackers are from the?
okay, yeah.
So, well, that's a good question, right? How do you move your array? Well, what construct can you use for your array? Okay. Index is the key of each element in an array. But how do you do a loop? What's the word? that length would return the number of items in the array. How do you do it? There's a certain word, right? Three-letter word, or, yeah, there you go, right? Okay. Okay, so if you want to go buttons, that's the goal. So if you want to go buttons, then you want the buttons to have the movie thing where you have 4 elements in the array. You know,
You can see the
so how do you do it? Right?
or thing, but
Okay.
to the
So 4,
you
then
can just do like $sign, parentheses.
right? Where do we do a fold? You have to be said, where does you start? Where's that? Or how do we get from the start? So where's the loop to start? Where's the natural place to start? What's that? A variable, and what you said.
Whatever you go from here. Then,
Okay. So we're in a for loop, we're defining a variable to use inside the for loop. And look, our array has 4 items. We want to go from 0 to 4. So we want to probably set this variable to 0. Because that represents the start of our system. Whenever you loop, you start, you go from somewhere to somewhere. So we'll say var moving to 0. Then we do our condition, right? Our condition basically says until when should be. So is is of 0 is less than the number of items that we need to write. Because you don't want this to be a so we need to basically say while is less than, and how do you get the number of items in the array? That's where we use that method. Well, not numbers. In this case, our array is called the array of numbers. That makes sense. We start at 0. We do our loop while movies, where we start not movies. The movies is our array. While 0 is so initially movie count length is 4, right? So the first time this runs is movie less than 4. Yes. And then we have to do increment multiply 1, right? Remember how to do that? What do we do? We want to increment movie by 1. Increment movie by 1. This is harder. What's the key? What's the kind of syntax? Increment by 1. Oh, 1 second. We could do a movie equals movie plus 1. That would work. But the easier way to increment something by 1 plus plus. Exactly. Plus. Right? So the way this reads is we start at 0. We do the content of our flow, all this stuff, while this variable that we set to 0 is less than the size of our array. You only want it to go 4 times. But if I think that you move from array, we want to go. And then movie plus plus is the sum, and it's hard to read. This basically says how do we go from this to this? Increment by 1. Each time the loop goes, we add 1 to this. It's like the first time the loop goes, it's 0. It's like, oh my God. So basically this will represent 4 times. Now we're ready to add 4.
Oh, I see what
Right? So we got like, yeah. So now this is where we basically want to add something to our isn't it called movie? What do you do? So now I'm going to do something like how do I start a shape for instance? What's the key player? Hey, that's good. And how do I target that div?
So what's happening? We have like
I try to target
we can't reference like data inside the screen.
Yeah.
So
we're at the city quote, and then
now we need like
you. So this targets some HTML down something whose ID is moving. So then I want to basically insert for each time the loop runs over 49 insert a plus line. So what's the HTML for a button? Yeah. It's actually button. So what's the, remember the jQuery message add something or insert something? So basically there's no user that's we call it.
That's one of the very first thing I should do. So behind him one, they're gonna make it. So it's like, but it's not it's giving me
So then I want to because what appears inside these tags is what's going to be I want to show something. The name of it. So for the first movie, I'm going to title. So for each time the loop runs, I should create the name of the movie. So that's where I need to get the name of the movie. I
didn't add.
Okay. So the first time this loop runs, what's the first time this loop runs, what's the value of the movie? 0. And the 0 array is so if I want to get the movie name right here, I need to concatenate the variable and my string. And I need to do a plus to concatenate. And how do I get the value? How do I get the value of 0 on the not just 0 element, but I know our arrays are how do I get oh, so I just do it right. So where is what you need to have taken out? Maybe I like returns the number of ways, right? But movie is the thing that contains a real variable. So that's how we usually do the movie. That's the array. And then what do I put in here? What do I want right here? Because I want to get, so the first time the loop runs, I want to get the video. What goes right there? Okay, so how do I remember the 0? What was the very thing you have to push? Yes. That makes sense. And what goes in here? Inside a loop. What's the variable that contains 0, 1, 2, 3? There's no I here. In my case, exactly. That makes sense. The reason I don't like to do things like that, but at least movement kind of implies that it's referring to the movie that we're iterating. Oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
So this is
Yeah, let's put it on.
There you go. So try it.
So I'm gonna erase everything in here. I know. Movies is array. Movie is
That'll get us like that.
right? Movie is exists inside our story. So that one character is a huge and of course, movies is local. Movie is local. And our mix
All right.
So I have to instruct the table to its position in the array.
Guys, I don't think I can spend it. Can I? I'll spend just 5 more minutes on this one.
Oh, we were doing something totally different. I'm sorry, that was so much other than that's your yes.
Is it just a button? I thought I tried that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so all this looks good.
Oh, that's this again. So
What's interesting is that
you're right. Yes.
so that's clear it out. So the first I'll clear it up. All right, guys. I just want to kind of go through this real quick. We still got some other fun AJAX stuff to do, and this was kind of a hard exercise, so I don't want to spend too much more time on it. But I do want to walk through it real quick. I saw a lot of different varieties of ways to do this, so I don't want you to necessarily think this was like a right way or a wrong way to do it. And everybody's way is equally good. I saw a lot of really creative solutions, and that's a really important part of critical thinking. So let's just talk it through. So when I rendered my buttons, some people did HTML, and they did, and Nick went over this a couple classes ago, the setters and getters, right? So if I did this, what would happen? Nothing would happen. It would never clear it out because that's not necessarily what that call was. This would be a getter in this sense, right? I could set a variable to this, right? If I did this, what would that do? I would set it, right? That would set it to this, right? So now movies that view would be replaced by that. a better method to doing this, and I promise I'm not going to try to introduce too many new things, but would be this. This would take that. So it's a jQuery method that cleans it out. Did this guy do empty? No. Okay. That guy. So him and Rob need to get together and go bowling. Yeah. All right. So okay. So then I saw other creative solutions when we're doing a for loop, right? I created a button, but some of you just created the button string, and that was fine too, right? They created the actual button tag and added it within there. There's several different solutions. Adding the class, I added a class movie to it, right? And then I put in a data attribute. Why would I do this? Nothing in this application is using this at this point. So why do you think I did that? Anybody know?
So you can get the name.
Yes, and well, no, because I'm showing them in a different way, right? I'm showing them down here. But Virginia, want to say it tiny bit louder? Yes, so I can reference it later, right? I can have this equal whatever I want to behind the scenes, and then I can have this, what I showed to the user, right? Maybe I'll put in a data name and I'll have it be code or something else that won't mean anything to the user, but would mean something to the application. So this piece of it will kind of come more important in the next section of what we're doing. So I may slack out the solution to this so we can use this as a template for the next piece, just so everybody's kind of on the same page with how that works. But if you want to use your own code, you can. Okay, so let's talk about the click for a second. Right, so we're preventing the default, which I said it wasn't necessary. I don't think a lot of us did it, or it was already in the code for some of us. It's 100% necessary since it's not submit or doing any action. Not all that important. We're setting a value to the movie input val. This is kind of a new one for us. I think we haven't done a ton of stuff with forms yet, right? You saw this for the first time today, the val, right? Yeah, sometimes I forget. See, so much of jQuery and JavaScript stuff is interacting with forms and using it and validating forms, doing all that type of stuff. So this is really common. So what is this going to do exactly, guys? What's the first thing it's going to do? Get the value of, right, and whatever's in it. It could be nothing, it could be something, right? And then what's this method doing here? Because we've seen this one already. Anybody? Have we not seen this one? We've seen it for the first time today. All right. What do you think that does? An extra space, right? Before and after. Cleans it up, right? These can get more complicated. We can trim out special characters, we can do things. But for this example, we're basically just taking out the white space, right? The default function of it. So we have, in this case, this would be a proper way to do this. A lot of us just did val, which is totally fine. I mean, it's just going to pull the val. Now, if I search the notebook space, right, I may not get that movie when we do our AJAX call later, right? So trim, cut off all that extra space. Let's see. Any questions? Anything I can copy with that? Did you guys kind of stumble down? Clearing out the search? Oh, okay. Sure, I think we can do that in the render buttons, right? Let's talk about it. So, did you want to know how to do it, or do you want to know? Okay. So, if I put in something like, if it's right, by default it won't do it, right? So, where would be a good place for me to add a function to do that? Do you think? On the click, right? Before I get the value, or after? After, right? So, couldn't I say something like, That? That be different between a setter and a getter? We kind of went over that a little bit, right? Let's just give this a shot. Let's see if it's worked. My val and values messed up. I'm the only one. All right. What's that? Now make it yellow? What?
Oh my God.
Now jump up and down. You're staying yellow. Be there. Let's talk about it. We talk about it. We can work on your yellow button. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, that's two new things, a couple new things we learned about, right? The val, getting the value in the input box. So take a note, write that down, because this is going to come up a lot. How do you get the value of this, all these different fields in the form, right? How do we set that value? What happens if I say on click, and then I say something like this? Enter. Maybe this is the wrong way to do this. We should be using a placeholder, but I'll get into all that stuff later. All right, so what if I did something like this? Said, okay, some movie. What happens when I hit add a movie? Bro. Right, some movie will go up there, and what goes in this input box? Right, so we can set values, not just clear it out, but we can set values in there as well. All right. Do you guys have any questions about that syntax? Huh? That's going to be really important, guys. Honestly, the interactive and using the interface with users and forms, that's going to be everything. So this is just kind of a warm up, but we'll definitely be getting into that. We're next week. I think we're covering storage session and clearing sessions using the I forgot what it's called, but it's the whole class is going to be on using values, right? So a lot of this stuff is going to come from the same persistence. That's the word. Thanks, guys. So we'll cover that next week, and a lot of that's going to be coming from those values. Okay. Shoot, I'm like 20 minutes behind. So I think we have to kind of go through this one fast. So using the starting code provided, this one should be called log movies. You guys see it? Oh, perfect. All right, so what we're going to do in this case, we're going to create the missing code and the snippet and just alert the movie name function necessary to capture the movie name, both from the original and the new buttons. Those buttons that we created, we're going to capture the movie name, right? So using the starter code, create the missing code snippets inside the display movie info function necessary to display the JSON data about each movie. So this is why we talked about those data attributes. If you can figure out how to add data attributes to those original buttons that we created, if you want to start, we can probably just send out the solution of that last exercise and go from there. It's up to you guys unless you want to use your own code. If anybody's not there yet, I don't want to leave anybody behind. I can slack it up. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Is now we're going to have the buttons that we click on show us the JSON data. All right. So that's going to be the fun part. Fun. Oh, you know what? Let's slack out those instructions. I bet that probably has you pretty included. Is it already set up? Oh, then yeah, just use that then. Oh yeah, perfect. No, don't. That'll just confuse things. No, this is perfect. Yeah, yeah, this is awesome. So try to read through all the comments and stuff first. I think a lot of you are, and that's a good practice.
Okay. Oh, wow. So,
What exercise are you supposed to do?
Who's like the which? We'll see who we should trust. It's like, let me take a look. Then I don't know. Let me see. Oh. Yeah, use 5. Yeah, 5. Five. 5. Oh, the minutes he wasted.
Oh, sorry. So we can grab the.
Ah. To create HTML?
Yeah, to create new HTML. To create like a new HTML element.
Okay, so you can use so like a button or something?
Yeah.
Or so you can say like a var, then then the variable a, whatever a equals, and then the button you can just build it as like JSON. So you do like or sorry, a jQuery. So $ in parentheses, button tag.
should be happening every time you click on one of the buttons. Those buttons. What's the jQuery syntax? Open up the jQuery selector. Yeah, I would use quotations if I wanted to start a string. Like dot, move. I want to go background that way. This is why this is why this is so important. We say that why this is so important. Okay.
I was gonna ask if I did that, but call me up to a day.
They want, when you click on this nobody or the matrix, they want you to use AJAX. Yeah, the innovation for the movie. That makes sense. Would be great. Or,
A lot less than
Oh, I think.
okay, good. So that's all cool. Now go to this. So it's your next class, but obviously, you click on line, it'll give you a live example. You should use AJAX. And then you should go to the ideas and create like this button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Yes. The green is not healthy, there's no connection. All right, guys, I'm sorry I got to call us early. I want to make sure we can get to everything today. So I just walked through the exercise myself, and some of the things that I think might trip us up are this, right? So if I'm calling this function within a click, what is this going to be? All right. And if I'm calling this button's attribute, right, it's going to return what? Whatever the thing is going to be, right? So this kind of tripped me up because I was like, oh, yeah, right. So we can just simply say, we clicked on this particular, like this class, right? Any one of the movies. And I was able to say, oh, but this specific movie that we clicked on, remember my boxes with the little things? You clicked on them, you returned the right ID. Say, okay, now we're going to display movie info, and I can say, oh, well, let's get that data name that was specified in there. Another way to do this, because the name of the button is the same, is right. I can just return what's included in it, right? I don't necessarily need to include the attribute. This is just best practice, right? So with that, I'm able to pull the movie from the AJAX, and then this information we're basically just copy and pasting from the other examples, right? There's nothing fancy here, right? I had to pull the query URL from another example. I didn't have it in front of me. I don't know if you guys did in the sample, but I just copy and pasted it in there, and then I was able to call it, do the get, and then take the response and do that stringify thing again, and just spit it out. And you guys, a lot of you guys did different ways. There's another method which I saw, which I liked a lot, which kind of leads into our next example, which would be an append, right? So we can continually add new movies. So every time we click one, another JSON adds to it, right? So you hopefully get something like this, right? Where it's like I added the movie, I can click it, and then okay, let me try another one. All right. All right. So we're gonna take a break, guys, for 15 minutes. We gotta make that like a hard 15 minutes because we got a ton of stuff to get through tonight. So I don't want to feel like anybody's left behind. So if you can just do, if you're kind of struggling a little bit with all that, let's come back here and then we'll work with you guys and do like just a quick rundown. All right. Yeah. Funny. All right.
We can't take a break late today, so our other break.
Huh?
You know, we usually go out to eat around 8:55. So it kind of came together.
Oh, you did. Okay, well, whatever works. You know. Do you want to take a break now, then, or do you want? What do you think? You guys are gonna leave at 8:55, right?
We usually leave that at night and then take a 15-minute break and come back around 9:10.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
sorry, yeah.
right now, kind of 2 breaks.
Shoot.
Got it.
Sorry.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you want to work through it. This one. I mean, it's up to you. You can just take 2 breaks if you want. You know, I mean, you need to take the second one.
Yeah,
so,
the second one's more important.
Yes, it is. So obviously, right? So do that. It's up to you.
Probably will come back at 9 or 7.
Perfect. It works for me.
But you can use the same one. Yeah. Well, make that. So, yeah.
very hot. Which was that?
I click on the matrix button, I want to do an
Yeah.
For the most part, like, well, that last one did go.
No,
Everything else I've been able to understand or get.
because you want to start a real
right, this is a very separate.
Look at this is saying. We're gonna drop the variable and I would do it for what's the title? There's no agent. Every time I click on a movie, the title is like, so that movie function will be, and then I just kind of work on. So now every time I click on a button, that is change. If you look at the whole thing, the how many ways on
Like, the first.
like I can use it. I click the movie.
I have no idea where to start.
Oh, really?
Or well, like, I was able to get something down, it just don't work. Saturday, like, the same lesson.
No, hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully not. No, it won't be. No, they, no.
Yeah, and so, and what, I mean, really, you don't.
They should have done.
So if I click on, if I click on the buttons, I want to right on the view or now kind of. When I click on.
Throw off the schedule. So you're like,
That was a couple
So I was just doing exactly. I don't know what I want to do. Yeah,
Otherwise, that would be,
get it.
yeah, they come from five.
And that way,
They're gonna do AJAX stuff. But it's gonna be,
that's supposed to be the title.
Unfortunately, no, some of the stuff that.
Every Google map will help.
well, that's what I was talking to.
So the question mark.
After last class, he was still saying, like, at the beginning of this conversation, I was like, okay, not that bad, but near the end, it was like,
So you might want to.
I'm immediately down to like a two. Because he kind of explained that before, but like, it's still kind of. Like what it So it's always.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's like when I was looking at it, I think that was like, I don't even know. Like, I wasn't sure. Respond to the, I think it was Well, I think it makes sense with the boxes going and actually see the code. Like, it's similar to lots of JavaScript stuff where the concepts, like, you get, it's just we're trying to implement them and combine it with stuff.
The most challenging part, I think, with this class is going how to know when to implement what.
Yeah,
right.
Even like when we first started, like just thinking about like putting a for loop inside and if cells or like just stuff like that. But
that's why that pseudocode part kind of helps out too. Is because I can write down this is what I need to do and go, what did I learn that helps me do that? You know. So.
I think getting more and more information is making it more and more similar. So like at the beginning it was like 40%, maybe. But like now it's like 65. So it's like still not perfect, but it's a higher percentage of what's actually sticking.
Well, and that's okay. I mean, it is. I mean, this is like a ton of information, and you want to just be able to grab onto some of it, you know, and then hopefully. Oh, here.
And realistically, 2 weeks of learning it, you're not going to be a master.
Right.
No. I mean, and I have friends that have been doing this for years that could still not like code from scratch, So it's
they do or
don't. No, I mean they need to start with something or so. I mean it's not. It's learning, right? I have a library. I have libraries of code that I reuse. I go, oh, how do I do this? Oh, that's right. I did this on this project 3 years ago. I'm going to take that code and use it. You know what I mean? So how much of programming is reuse? Like 80% of it.
That's what I think. Originally, I was thinking like, oh God, am I going to have to for every project that's done to do it?
No.
Like, all right, set up the header, set up.
But I just wanted to show you this example again, just because I can click on each one of these, and it returns that proper one, right? But you remember this.
I have an off-topic question. Have we done iterators?
Have we done iterators?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. No. I was doing a code academy. I understand the concept. It's just like. Don't get your hopes up. But I wasn't sure if we went over it. And
No, not yet. Not yet. But anyway, so that's the simplest explanation of this. It's just like pull the class, return the HTML.
Now that I know that it's just whatever is factor.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, right. So the same thing's happening here. It's just saying return this whatever it is. Even though it's in a function, they call that function within a click. So it knew that something was.
So you're talking about that movie? That's referring to
what? Well, no, it's good. It's a good question. So whatever called this, right?
Oh, okay.
So let's find. We don't know what called this. So if someone clicked on the movie class, then we're going to call this function, right? So the scope of that function, right, is you're still within
whatever is paired up with that function.
Yeah. Right. So I'm able to say, oh, okay. So what is? I see it there, and I go, okay, where is that? Oh, right. So all I need to do is go, okay, yeah, whatever this attribute is, I can return it. That way you totally don't care what the value of the button is or anything else. You can set a separate thing for it. Yeah. We could write a function for each button that's created. We could write something that's separate, or we can just make the code really dry and just.
That's what I was talking to Nick about on Monday. Was just my fourth assignment, I had 4 different plans.
Yeah.
So I needed to kind of work through it and show them like consolidate to make it. So
Yeah, and a lot of people did it that way. And I was gonna do the same thing, but it's like you get to work and then tighten it up. You know what I mean? Get it all to work first and then tighten it up, you know. That's the tricky part. 840. I'm so behind. How much? That work, Brady?
When you did the $this.attribute, you had to do it using vanilla JavaScript. When you do this.
This is a JavaScript one.
But you put the $this. That's
In vanilla?
yeah.
I don't know. No, this is a jQuery thing.
Oh, you cannot do that.
No.
Because I was doing just without this, without the $.
Yeah, that worked. You turned it.
It worked, but then I had to do the this.dataset.
Oh, really?
Can you do this dot get attribute by name?
Well, yeah,
Could be something
sure.
like that.
Well, because you wouldn't. Yeah, I just don't know the syntax. I have to look up the property. I don't know unless it's you maybe get counted by attribute, whatever. But I've never used this outside of jQuery. So yeah, that's news to me. So it must be limited.
I have also seen like a lot of time developers do like bad equals this. So basically they just take this and put it in the variable and then use
Yeah.
Is that a standard?
Yeah. Some people use that. So var that equals this, and then they use this. So it depends. Yeah, it is confusing. Yeah, I try to stay away from that too, but sometimes you have to, because you have to assign it something and then reassign it. So yeah, or make changes to it.
It's not that important. So, I mean, Facebook, you know, you have your salaries, of course. Big area.
Yeah.
And that's not like a tech lead or a team lead. That's your part. So I guess you know, I would say that look, I don't think there's really it's not a destination. You don't let one day just come up with it's a journey. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It makes more sense. Yeah, I think one of the I don't care how big you think you are, you know, and not emphasize this enough. It's so rare to find someone who's actually an expert. If they are, it's usually pretty narrow. Because it's so big, it's changing. You know, I help you. So you're like, if you guys are people are struggling. I know more than people on my team. They make me. They look at me like yeah, I just honestly, I just saw one, and that means shit. I had no one. I just started thinking, and then I got on 15.
Oh, that's my.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, you see it one more time.
Like there have been ones where it's such a big fall. But a lot of times it's
You don't just start people you try it. And then once you have to play, and you know, okay, this has the biggest problem people have is don't bring
that they were looking for. I'm never gonna try it. I like talk to you. Do you actually know anything about this?
So
they give you ones like this. I want to go
you know,
so it's really just there's a lot of things.
and so for example, right, I would be that's the market.
It's not like
All right, guys, let's do a big power clap. All right, so I know it kind of moved pretty fast, but how are we feeling about things? Fist to 5. Okay. All right, so I'm going to cover the next exercise maybe a little bit slower. I don't think we're going to get to the very last one, which is unfortunate because it's so awesome, but it's okay. It's the pace is going to change, right? So let's see. Let's do this. We're going to do the working move. This is great. You guys are going to love this. It's kind of what we were hoping to work to, which I think we're going to be there. So hopefully we can all create this by the end of this next exercise. All right. What kind of movies are we talking about? Anybody want to name a movie? I had a weird random movie. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, yeah, okay. That's a good one. Oh, did I spell it wrong? True Lies. Oh, there it is. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's so lucky. Yeah. Get to the chopper. Okay. Which one? Isn't there a chopper where he's trying to save her from the? Oh, grab my hand, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And then they kiss the body.
Yeah. There's always a chopper and there's always a hand. All right. Okay. So, all right, we're going to use the starter code provided to you, or complete it on your own. I would suggest if you want to use starter code, use stuff that you've had from the other snippets put together. So we're going to do the movie poster. All right. We're going to do the rating. We're going to do the release date, and we're going to do the plot. And that's all the stuff we're going to pull out of that JSON, right? And we're going to put it up on the page. You can append it like this example if you want to, where it kind of is adding it to the top. What's that called when it adds it before the rest? Prepend. All right. Awesome. Yeah, do you want to go ahead and select that out? Did he? Oh, you already did? Okay, sorry. Sweet. Did you not? Did you? Okay. And this one already has the AJAX already kind of provided for it. So this one should be a little easier, guys. Looks like a lot of stuff is done. So awesome. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the movie poster, the rating, the release date. So, so once we get I think if I started to recommend that part for real. So, have so start. Honestly, I'll be that's yeah. Okay. So you know how to create it. You have to do sure. Well, that's where you can put sure. You put one here on all of those in there. Yeah. So yeah. If you wanted to say let's wine. Double. So after that. Now we're but wait, see how so basically Oh, no, just not, but proper syntax. It's not me. Yeah.
Sorry for your drop.
That's okay.
So what you do is source the value of it. This is like if you do it either way. Since we can get
A lot of questions that I originally had.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you could, right, yeah. So what you're saying is, let's set up for that, so what we want. So. You could say. So if we're gonna create yep, and then just do this. Like a good tag. Yeah. We don't say, so actually we're using.
Oh, okay.
So what, so that's gonna create. Right, so we'll have this business, now we can add some stuff to it, right? Now that we can add a source. Or add image to it. Right? And say, let's maybe start that out. So
Just setting up a variable.
yeah, I would say this. I would say this is the simplest way to do it, right? One is passive.
Oh, it's good.
I like that. Let's not do the end. I will tell you the things we're up in there. We do have a function. Okay. So this is this idea up here. Why don't we say we have this response, we know what this is, right? So we can do a console on the left side. All the stuff. Just do it. So we have that. Why wouldn't I say? But why just for short right? So we'll basically say, oh, you know what? This data, I might have to put that after midnight. And then I want to just so that we what goes here? What's that? One of the spots.
Oh. I don't know what it is. But if
So it is that. Yeah, so yeah, when JavaScript I am copying and pasting
Yeah. But you can also just do our rating.
Yeah.
I got cool fonts.
No.
Like workplace.
So
We have a. Oh. Yeah.
so this is how's it going, man? That's how I look at it. But yeah, look up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay. Well, so your computer is it restarting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know what it is.
Especially my work.
Really?
Right. So you can set it up that way. Right. You can take it.
Is this your work computer or personal?
Yeah.
So after this, good kid. I'm Friday.
Oh, right. Actually, that's
Yeah.
I work 8 hours. I'm studying about 6 hours.
Oh, wow. Does it help?
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Oh, good.
So you can go
So with this one's fairly straightforward. We've been building on this thing all night, right? First, we added the code to be able to type the movie name in and add the button. And then we did it so when you click the movie button name, it would alert the name. And now we're doing, when you click the movie button name, it'll make an API call for that movie. So if you click a button for the Matrix, it'll.
I was telling you.
Exactly, that's the idea. We'll show the poster and the title and the rating and the release date, etc. That's really what's going on here. So get in. Look at it.
Where it is relative. You guys like right now, like
We did slide that. Not solutions.
like so like
That would be helpful. Yeah. Okay. We can have a look at it.
Yeah, this is putting it for next time.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I need to have.
I wish we could slow down.
no, this is.
It's supposed to be.
It's tough sometimes, to be honest. You're like, what is that stuff?
I know. I see.
That's
why I started
Yeah.
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 So this.
Or you like, I'll say that.
You're working.
Oh, I work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm full stack. What I'm doing now is mostly JavaScript. But yeah, I would say it's full stack. We do the back end and front end. But I mean, I'm on the team, right? So I don't do all of that. I work on
Oh, because it's
what's it like?
that makes sense.
Well, it's a, so we pair a program, right? That means like all day long, I'm working with someone just like you. All day long. And usually they're a lot better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
feel like an idiot now.
I mean, it's really, I learn a lot doing that.
You're doing it wrong.
I haven't, no. I have a degree, and I have a few years of experience working, but I've never, this is my first experience. But yeah, it's, it's a lot of work, but it's a good job, it's a good career. So we do all jobs with JS, which is what will be done later on. So it's all our jobs. We do something that's called test driven design, which means that we write tests for our code before we write our code. Yeah, it's crazy, I know. But it's very important for large projects because you can see how many ways that your application can go wrong with even just a small thing. 100 lines of code, imagine if it's 200,000 lines. Lots of opportunities for errors. I change this bit of code and it affects something over here. We need teams. Yeah. So our team is probably and all of us get exposed to all of it, which is nice. Anyway, so there it is. Yeah, it would be better. So if you go back, yeah, or that's fine too. That'll do it. Well, you can just right click on it. If you just right click on the icon on the name, you should just be able to save, extract all. It does the same thing as what you did. So, yeah. So this extracted your normal tab. Okay. So this is actually really, really simple. So can you run this page? Just right click on it. Just go to the browser. And can you increase your screen brightness? That just, yeah, sorry, my old eyes. Okay, so basically the idea is supposed to be that when you click on one of these buttons, that it makes the AJAX call, right? And I think it's doing it, but we don't really know that it's doing it. So if you go back to the code, right, scroll down a little bit. So here's where that AJAX call is. And these are all the things they want you to do. So right in that then, that's where that right when you get to then, response is the result of your API call. So why don't we just do a console.log right after that, right there. Yep, hit enter, and just do a console.log of response. I just make that log. So this way, whenever so what's happening here is every single time this info is run, it basically takes. So if we go down to the bottom, display movie info. Right here, every single time someone clicks on anything whose class is moving, which are those buttons, we basically run display movie info. Display movie info, if you go back up, or better yet, here, check this out. Control click on display movie. Control click on that. Control. Just control and click on that. Doesn't do it. Just left click, control. Doesn't do anything. Surprised. I would think that you should be able to see it. Doesn't do it. What I was hoping that it would do is jump to that method. It doesn't seem to do it. Whatever. We'll scroll up. No big deal. So it takes us here to this guy. And so now this is very important. We make a variable called movie, which basically grabs the data name attribute of the thing that was clicked, the button. So in fact, if we go back here and right click on this and say inspect, yep, inspect that. Right click on it. Inspect it. This, you can see, has an attribute called Mr. Nobody, right? So basically what this bit of code right here is doing is saying every single time whenever I click on a button, it grabs the data attribute, the data name attribute, and it puts the value of it inside the movie variable. And then we take that movie variable. So this would then, if we click on Mr. Nobody, movie would then contain Mr. Nobody. Right? And then we take movie and we put it in here. Right? So now our API call is to this, but instead of T being, it basically changes right? Okay, so then we make our AJAX call. Now we do console.log response. So let's check it out. If you click on the notebook and you go to your console, I click on. Oh, I think we haven't saved it. You know about autosave, right? Not autosave. So now we go back, refresh it, now click on it. And now that's what that console.log is doing. So that's response right there. And if you open it up, you might click the little arrow. The little arrow over there. Yeah. This shows you everything that's in. This is what that API call return, right? You know this is an object, by the way, because it's in curly braces, right? Curly braces in So if you want to output the title, you would do response dot and that would give you the title of the note, would give you the notebook, I guess. But if you want the plot, you do response dot. Yeah, response dot plot. Yeah. So that's it, right? So then if you go back, the idea is we want to output that stuff into the title, right? So what we need to do is create a div to hold the movie, and then we will basically append to that div the content we want to put in, right? So let's do that. Let's make like a very how do you initialize a variable? Call it movie div. How do you initialize a variable? What's the keyword to initialize? 3 characters starts with 3. And then let's just call it movie div. Bar movie div. That's yeah, you can call it anything. Yeah, movie's fine. Yeah. And then what we would want to do now is they're saying we should make a div to hold the movie. So let's do a jQuery statement. Parentheses, and then double quotes, and then just bracket, angle bracket, div. Angle bracket. Angle bracket, that's a parentheses. Angle bracket, that's the one, yeah, div. Close it, yeah. And that right there will make a div and put it in a variable called movie. And that's it, right? So now, if you hit enter after that line, or better yet, after the rating, yeah, right there, you want to get the rating data. We should, how do we get the rating data? So what's that? Console.log would output it to the console, but I want to put it in a variable. So better yet, let's do this. Let's use the jQuery method to append it to that div. So the movie, just movie, right? Because movie is that dot parentheses. Yep. And then let's do say a div. So bracket div. And then after the and then this time type rating. All right. Oh, right there.
Yeah.
With a colon and space. You could capitalize. You want this inside without the quote. Yeah, without that first quote, just capitalize. Right there, capital R. Yeah. Colon. Okay, that's fine. And then right after the quote, do a space and a plus. And then a space. And now I want, how do we output the rating attribute from our object? What's our object? That the API call returns. Exactly. The API call returns response, then function response. Response is the object. Yeah, exactly. So response. Yep. It has to be the same name. So if that was capitalized, then you could make it. You could call whatever you want. In fact, you could call that movie, which might make more sense than response. But so then you don't want to do that. You don't want to dump in rating the entire object. You just want rating. So here, however, it's rating with a capital R. So you need, and it's in fact rating. Use rating. And then let's do a concatenate operator, so space plus. And then close, and then close your head. So bracket slash inside the quote. Inside. There you go. Bracket slash. Bracket slash. Close it. We open it there. Close it.
No. I definitely feel comfortable once I see
Yeah.
how it's laid out. It's just like a simple mistake, like just.
Yeah.
Like
Does that make sense? So we're basically appending to this div another div that contains rating, and then the actual rating of the movie that we clicked on, and then we close the div. So this is good, but what we need to do is we have to append this whole thing to the place on our webpage where we're going to output. We haven't done it, so we scroll up. We have a div here on movies. All of these divs in so let's do this down the bottom, right? After this line, do jQuery, so $sign. And then I think pound, I think movies are right. Yeah, movies are dash.
I gotta just wait for this guy to dial up.
Oh, man, I didn't know I had this one. You got a Fabcon.
And then of course,
Starting
close
with
that
operator,
close, right?
yeah.
It's a string, so yeah.
I guess $1.
And then now we can append what do we want to append? Movies, we want to append the information about the movie. So append. No, because this is a variable name, so not yet. No, because we call it movie because that's what you call that div. That contains everything. So that try this. Go back and run your refresh the page. And now if you click on the matrix, oh, bam, and you click on the notebook. Oh, bam. So now you want to get like the image, the poster, and the title, and whatever else. That's all this, right? Get the rating, release. Similar, yeah. For the poster, it might be different, right? Because the poster image has to be you want to modify the source image of it, the source attribute of an image tag. So you know how we like did this You give me like a hashtag and a source action to it. The source action, I remember how you do HTML, I think there's source equals the name of the file. So the name of the file is right, if you open up an add-on, one of those objects. You should have in your posters, I'm going to say image.
Oh, yeah.
Keep working on that.
I bet it's based.
Good luck. I don't know how you do it. Till 6 a.m.
Staying out of the
Yeah. Especially after that. You do that every week.
There's work by night, so I don't
Well, that's you're doing a study.
yeah, basically.
Just worst things, you know. That's cool. Well, you have something to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then play with it. Make it look nice, you know? Whatever. You know? Go over the code. Make sure you understand all of it, the whole thing, you know? That's what I would do. Read it over and over again. Do I understand what everything is doing, how it moves around, you know? Yeah, well, till next time.
All right, guys. Hey, see you. Okay. Well, guys, thanks. We had a fun class. That was really a good time. I hope you guys feel like a lot more comfortable with AJAX than you did at the beginning, right? So, fist of 5 now. How are you feeling with AJAX? How did you go down? You were a 3 when we first started. All right. Well, let's do a big power clap, and then I'll see you guys on Wednesday or Monday.
What is it? Oh, just a minute. Oh, you want to?